What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Game Season 3, Episode 16. This is the average man's perspective on football. I'm your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey.
We got Mark in the building. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
Next up is Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Thank you for joining us.
And we got a first-time guest on the show. You're on mute, Max. You gotta unmute yourself.
What's the deal, y'all?
We got my little brother, Max. Say what up, Max.
Welcome.
Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter at the Live Game 3. Check us out on Facebook and our Facebook group, The Live Game. You can also catch us on Instagram at the official The Live Game. Now, I should have asked this before the show started, but who's hosting tonight?
That would be me.
That would be Herman. All right, Herman. Herman's hosting tonight. Go ahead, take us away, Herman.
All right. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We're going to go over some NFL news. We're going to have our hot topics. We're going to review last week's picks. We're going to pick this week's games, and then we're going to hit you with our final thoughts. So sit back for the next hour and a little bit over an hour and enjoy the show. So let's start off with our normal news like we always do, COVID-19. Hopefully this section will not be in the show next year. We're going to start off with the Giants offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett. He actually tested positive for COVID, and Freddie Kitchens actually had to call the Giants, the plays for the Giants in the game against Cleveland on Sunday night.
No wonder they lost.
Yeah. A group of Texans players apparently attended the opening of Deshaun Watson's restaurant, which possibly violated COVID-19 policies set forth by the NFL. So I think word came down that they were going to find some players, but I didn't get a whole lot on that story. And quite honestly, we're tired of talking about COVID. The next story was exactly Dwayne Haskins, starting quarterback for the WTF team.
Washington football team.
WTF.
Yeah. Was seen on video and on pictures at a strip club apparently Sunday night after the game.
What you said it wasn't a strip club.
Yeah, but when you look at the pictures, it's funny because it didn't look like pictures from the strip club. It looked like it was at somebody's house. It's just like you can see a TV in the background. So I thought that was kind of weird. But he's been fined by the team $40,000. They said this is probably the biggest Corona fine this year.
Really?
And and he was stripped of his captainship.
He never should have been captain in the first place.
This is the second time. This second time he did it. He did
it's the second time he's got in trouble
in October. So he deserved it.
He tried to sneak somebody into the team hotel room
in New York.
So they talked to him. They asked him if he thought this was his final chance with the Washington the WTF team, and he said yes, he thinks it is. Being dumb. Let's just jump right into the next hot topic. Because
but before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to the person that's watching on my watch party, Brian. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, thank you. Always here to look out for y'all.
So let's go ahead and jump in. That's all the NFL news that really we were going to discuss this week, or at least go over. Let's get into the hot topic. And our first hot topic that we were going to talk about is who's to blame for Dwayne Haskins' demise in Washington. Let's start off.
I'll start. Let me start.
No, I know you want to start. That's why I'm not going to let you start. Let's start with our guest, Max. What do you think about this? Who do you think is to blame?
Honestly, I think it's him. You could tell that he's a little bit immature. Coming from straight from the Ohio State University. I think that the coaches they kind of don't trust him. I think he's that kind of little kid, and that shows it with his personality. And so I think that a little bit he's the one to blame. So,
Mark, what you think?
He only started in a short number of games in college, coming out, and now he didn't play any pretty much his rookie year. Now he's it is himself. It's no question. I go back to when the they were in training camp or the beginning of the season. The linebacker Thomas Davis had this is early this season, matter of fact, had made a comment to him about, hey man, you looking down your receivers too much. And instead of taking this is a veteran who's been in the league for over 20 years. Instead of taking that in stride and taking that and grow off of it, he just pretty much blew him off like, hey, and you don't know what you're talking about. This dude is he's immature. I don't think nothing sticks to him where he has the ability to really grasp everything. And you're a leader. You're supposed to be a leader of an NFL team. You don't act like this. You don't do these type of things. And the same token, he has not really been too much a starter in too much of his career. So I think that plays a part in it too. He perhaps don't know how to lead properly. So I think a lot of it, like Max said, it has a lot to do with him. To be honest with you, I agree.
Brian,
I think he has the talent for it. I do think
So
he
you-
has the talent to lead.
you
But
think he does have the talent?
I do think so.
I
But
question that. I question it.
You question it.
I question it.
Brian,
The
Watch the
WTF
football team.
brass is the blame for the demise of Dwayne. They drafted him way too high. He wasn't ready. He hadn't had enough starts in college to be drafted. What, number 4 in the NFL draft? Whoever's the talent evaluator over there reached dramatically and it's failing miserably, and it shows. Yes, Dwayne does a lot of dumb things. Yeah, Dwayne could be doing a lot better, but that's what you're supposed to figure out before you make this decision. You're not supposed to do it now. So ultimately, it's the Washington brass that caused Dwayne's demise by drafting him way too high.
that's an interesting take. Before this last episode, I'm kind of still with you, Brian, but I was definitely thinking along the lines of it's a bad situation for him because he was drafted by the previous regime. They really didn't do anything to try to start developing him. And then he has a new regime that comes in, and I always go back to the head coach wants to be married to his quarterback. And then let's take Ron Rivera for instance. He doesn't have a track record of developing QBs. Okay, when he got Cam, Cam came out of college and he was running a pro style offense. They never really tried to develop.
Well, Cam didn't run a pro style offense in college.
Yeah, Auburn. Yes, I believe he was.
No, absolutely not.
I have a pretty reliable source who briefs me on college stuff. But anyway, I'm not 100% sure on it. But I trust the person who I'm sure he's watching. He'll chime in. But Rivera never really tried to develop him, in my opinion. Their regime never tried to develop Cam. It was just all about, use his talent, win as many games possible, don't worry about developing him. So now, fast forward to Dwayne Haskins, it's almost like it's the same situation. The previous regime drafted him. I don't think Rivera wants him, didn't want him because that's why he brought what's his name? Kyle Allen from the Panthers to Washington with him. He wanted him to replace him, and they did give him a chance. It looked like Dwayne was doing what he needed to do. His teammates voted him a captain. So he must have been doing something right along the way. Something went sour, and I think it's between the coaching regime and the player. Now I believe that Dwayne's probably just doing stupid stuff to try to get out of Washington. He will get out of Washington. He'll get another chance somewhere. Now, whether or not he succeeds is going to be on him from that point on. But he hasn't done anything criminal, so there's no reason why somebody in the NFL won't give him another shot. So my opinion, I think it's a little bit of both is the reason why this demise has happened to him in Washington.
Do you think his next, just real quick, you think his next gig would be a starter or a backup?
I think he's going to have to earn a starting position, depending on depending on where he goes. I mean, he could let's say the Jets go after him, for instance, because the Jets now have the number 2 pick. And whoever the coach is that they are assuming they get a new coach, he wins the starting job. he could win it. He's not going to walk in anywhere and just be given a starting position. I mean, the only place I could think of that would possibly do that would be Detroit. Because they really have, if they decide to move on from Stafford, they really have nothing. So, Marcus.
Yeah, you trying to get the new head coach of the Jets and the Detroit Lions fired if they sign Dwayne Haskins up there. So
I'm just saying.
it's I believe it's entirely Dwayne Haskins' fault. Even though there is truth, I forget when I said this. I think it's Brian. The Washington football team never should have drafted him as high as they did. He only played one. I think only
full
saw
season in college.
Full season in college.
Mm-hmm.
And everything he's done since then. I mean, I always say go by the eye test. If you look at the eye test, he just doesn't have it. There's nothing. Watching that game the other day against who was that? They were supposed to win Seattle, and I just knew he wasn't going to win it because he just doesn't inspire any confidence. I mean, I had to look at the stats. He had a whole lot of attempts not to have 300 passing yards. He just doesn't have the tangibles. I mean, you can talk about development quarterback or whatever, but okay, so Riverboat Ron, he doesn't develop quarterbacks. Well, he got the wrong one then. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he didn't want that.
Did anybody? I'm sure there was some.
But the head coach that was there didn't really want Haskins when he was drafted.
He did.
Well, he was right. Haskins is garbage. Haskins is not the answer. It is all him.
He has had no chance. You can't say he's garbage because you took RG3 and y'all turned him into garbage.
That's a whole different regime, man. That was 2012. That's a whole different team.
Same team.
Well, the head coach was there with RG3.
The same people ain't there.
Head coach was there.
The same. Well, they ain't there now. Totally different regime. Haskins ain't it. Okay, you look at people like Justin Herbert. Okay, he tell he got it. Kyler Murray, he has it. You could say Baker Mayfield 3 years down the road, 4 years on the road.
It took 4 years for Baker to show it.
But you could just tell he just doesn't have it, and his immaturity is beyond control. Last season, Colt McCoy had to go in the game because he on the sideline taking selfies. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and he's at the strip club. Come on, man. I mean, this is this is one thing I never. But this is not only him. This is one thing I never understand about these players is you are in an industry that is so competitive. There's so many people want to be in, and you just basically just taking a dump with like toilet paper, just wiping your ass with it. I'm like, dude, come on. This is you have an opportunity.
Yeah, but it's a different point of view from them. They've always been the best and the most talented.
That's what I was getting ready to say. From Pee Wee football.
Yeah.
Okay, just because you was good in Pee Wee or
it's like that entitlement. They feel like
right, Marcus. That's the thing.
But it's not the same in the NFL. There's somebody always there, ready to take your job.
But that's the thing. The coaches create this because from every level, when they are one of the best, they get to do whatever they want to do. And then when you hit the NFL is when you realize, oh, somebody else is just as good as me. Because even in college, everybody on the team is not going into the NFL. So they're gonna focus on the people who are the stars, just like they do at every level.
To me, it's him. He needs to be gone. He's not the answer. Let's just go ahead just go ahead and stop the Dwayne Haskins experiment.
I think
Max, you're going to just jump in because they'll just talk over you. Just go ahead and say what you got to say.
I think that he does have the tangibles. I was watching his the way that he was learning on the game on Sunday. He threw the 2 picks, but after that he learned when he's rolling out. When he's rolling out to the left, he didn't throw it. He took it. He tucked it and he ran. You know what I'm talking about? After that, he decided to do the short game and it was picking Seattle apart. I think that he does have the capacity to be a NFL time quarterback if he just gets the maturity right. I think just in the game on Sunday, for the way that he learned from his mistakes, that was key for me. I was like, wow, physically, athletically, he has it, and he's just, I think his football IQ is there too as well. So
he was going against one of the worst passing defenses, overall defenses in the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, that's why it's a two-way street, Marcus. You're letting your team off the hook. Your team has just as much responsibility as Dwayne has for his demise, because and you see Big Reg is pointing out all this stuff. You have to develop these quarterbacks no matter what talent level they have if you want to be successful. If you just go off of their talent, at some point it's gonna run out. And you see it with Cam. Why do you think Cam is struggling with the Patriots? Because he was never developed with Carolina. So now
Patriots don't have the personnel to run the type of offense.
No, they don't.
They don't.
But if Cam had been developed,
their receivers are trash.
Yeah, if Cam had been developed, you probably would have seen a little bit more success. So, I mean, we could go on and on about this, but let's move on to something a little lighter. Let's talk about which Derrick Henry stiff arm was the most disrespectful.
Both.
Oh, Brian.
Last was absolutely the most disrespectful. I thought that that when Buffalo's I didn't think he could do. I didn't think he could top it. He topped it. Yeah, Norman. He topped that. He topped that last week. I mean, that dude went flying. I mean, I swear he wanted to say, you know, when he was throwing that, he's like, but he said, man, absolutely, last week gets the one for me.
Marcus.
You know, I'm gonna have to go with the one when they played Baltimore. What's the safety's name? Thomas. Because not only he stepped on him and made him block for him. I mean that's I mean, yeah, you get knocked out. I mean, Josh Norman was pretty bad, and the one this past week against Detroit was pretty bad. But when he turned you around and makes you block for him, that's just disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm gonna say that one was the worst.
Yeah, but you know the two that he not the way he really not to do. Why did he go out of bounds each time? You know what I'm saying? He stepped on him, but then he went out of bounds.
Right, Max. What'd you think? Which one you think?
I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Josh number one. I don't have too much love for him, so it was pretty satisfying.
But see, that's because he was.
That's perfect.
But it was funny. It was funny.
It was hilarious. But
yeah, I'm gonna agree with Max on that one because I don't like Josh Norman either. He talked way too much trash. And Henry made him his B. Mark.
I mean, they both was bad. I mean, I guess Derek. I guess Josh Norman was probably the most disrespectful. But the quarterback Myers that he did for Detroit. You know, it was his first game back in there. So, imagine you telling your family, "Hey, I'm gonna be playing the game Sunday.
Right.
I'm gonna be playing the game." And so, hey, they're gonna board him. Oh, imagine seeing that. But I think
you think Josh was happy to see that on Sunday? This is like maybe they'll leave me alone.
But the dude, hey, if anybody have studied this man, he's been doing this since college.
Yeah,
you don't run to him sideways.
No,
you if you go
sideways, you better be going low. You better be going for them legs.
or you better fake a Charlie horse. Or you got a cramp or something that you can get him.
You should just fall down and just roll.
Just fall in front of him.
Yeah, but he's been doing it since college. But yeah, Josh Norman was probably the worst.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our last kind of hot topic. So. The Jets decided to surprise the Rams and win a game this past week. So now they've dropped out of the number one spot for the draft. So if the Jets don't get that number one pick back, who do you think they'll take, or what direction do you think they should go in? Marcus, you can start this one off.
I mean, that's a hard question.
I know.
Because really, I don't know other quarterback. I think you're talking about the dude from Ohio State, but he's been
Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields, but he was looking bad this couple games I saw him, man. I don't know who's another quarterback. Who's the next quarterback?
Justin Fields.
And he said Justin Fields. Were you not listening?
The next one up is some dude named Zach Wilson from
Zach
BYU.
Wilson, Trey Lawrence, and maybe Mac Brown from Alabama.
The dude from Florida too. I forgot his name. The dude from Florida.
From Florida.
Yeah.
Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, they need to just go ahead and just take these next two games. I think that was just Adam Gase's way of saying, y'all gonna fire me anyway, so F y'all. Y'all ain't getting your number one pick.
Yeah, man. They should have fired him. They should have fired him when they fired Williams.
They should have fired him a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, but they couldn't have fired him this week. But yeah, you're right. You should have fired him when they fired Williams. But They couldn't have fired him this week. That's way too obvious.
Big Red says
I
trade
won
the
the first game. You're fired.
pick. Big Red says trade the pick and start building the team. They definitely need a quarterback. And then Professor J says I would take Penix before Fields. I don't know who Penix is. Who he
I think it's the left tackle, isn't it? From I think that's that tackle. They talking about he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Sam Darnold has been maybe he hasn't given. I mean, considering his coaching staff, give him another coaching staff and see what he can do.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking like Big Red said, you either trade the pick, trade it down to get more picks, or you take that. Now, yeah, that's interesting. Or you take that tackle. Yeah, that's interesting, Ben. I think you have options if you're the Jets. Think about it. I mean, for real, you could get you could bring in Haskins for cheap. Wentz is going to cost you money though. But if you wanted to have competition with Darnoldson and Haskins, and then you trade the pick or you start to build your team, and you get your quarterback later. You know what I mean? At number 2. Oh no, he's a QB from Indiana. Well, I know there's a left tackle out there too that's supposed to be high up, but if you can't get Lawrence, I think you trade the pick or you start to build somewhere else, and you have options. You have Wentz, you have Haskins to bring in for cheap.
You got Cam.
You do. You got Cam. You might even have Stafford if you want to do something like that too. You know what I mean? Stopgap type quarterback. So, and just build the rest of your team. Mark.
I think if they trade for that pick, they can get a pretty ransom for that.
Yeah, they can.
You think about it. You think about the team they trade with. You look at Atlanta, gonna maybe be looking for one. You look at Detroit, can make a deal for one. Possibly
Washington.
I'm gonna say the Cowboys, y'all. I'm gonna say the Cowboys.
Stop.
Don't say that.
Possibly. Well, you guys ain't saying.
Why don't you say Pittsburgh did too? Why don't you say Pittsburgh?
Yeah, exactly. But
listen, Pittsburgh won't do that. They're not gonna pay that big time money to a quarterback.
It's not big time money. We talking about a rookie.
We're not gonna do that.
It's a rookie.
With the Cowboys did it.
I'm sorry. Because Jerry Jones wants to win again. He wants to be.
Yeah, he does, but we've never gone. When we got Aikman, it was because we were terrible the year before, and we didn't go up in the draft. That's not how we draft. We don't do that.
Right. But y'all have the cap to do it too.
Yeah, but the Steelers would be more likely. Isn't Ben $42 million against the cap next year? The Steelers would be more likely to do that than Dallas would be. I mean, that's real.
But I think there's other teams out there more dire need than what the Steelers would right now.
And Dallas ain't one of them.
Yeah, Dallas ain't it. They ain't giving up on that.
Dalton, if we really give up on that, he would probably go with Dalton.
I don't know.
So that doesn't even make any sense.
Hey, Big Reds, I'll take that. I will take him. You give him to me.
Stop it.
You know what? It's funny to me, all these WTF fans. They want to see Dak out the division so bad because they know.
I'll take him. I would definitely take him. But I mean, I'm gonna give you another dark horse on this battle: the New England Patriots.
For who? Yeah, I can see that one. I can see that. They got the. I'm talking
about giving up some draft choice.
That's for trade within the division though.
And trade.
No. The Patriots gonna go get Garoppolo from San Francisco. That's what they gonna
get them back.
They're gonna go get.
But I would definitely trade it. I would trade it too.
The Jets would be crazy to trade that pick to New England. You know.
Come on, sorry.
But they need a lot.
Y'all know y'all just want Dak gone. I'm talking.
Stop it.
Yeah, just stop. And you're right. Dak's not going to sign another franchise. He's not going to have to sign another franchise.
You know what? I agree with that. After this season, I think Jerry going to lay up. We better go ahead and sign that.
Right.
Not just that though. Dak's going to say, "Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm going to gamble again." He's going to get his guaranteed money. They're going to find a way to work this out. Did I get everybody on the round robin? Did I get you, Matt?
Oh, I agree. I agree with you guys with the trading. I don't think I don't see another quarterback really out there. They kind of messed the bed on getting the one that they should have gotten. So I say you just stick with who you got, and you either trade down or you pick the best even defensive player. You decide what you want to do. You want to be a great defense, or do you want to be a great offense? You pick whatever defensive lineman, offensive lineman, get that together so that you can at least hang your hat on something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Jets defense is way better than the offense. They should play to their strengths and try to like reinforce the defense.
And let me say, Professor J, don't let Herman mess you up with his saying it's WFT. You know better. you know better. Don't let Herman subconsciously put that in your mind. It's WFT.
It's okay if you call it the WTF team. That's how y'all feel. We know it.
Yeah.
All right, so those are our hot topics for the week. Let's get into these game reviews. We're gonna start off with the Thursday nighter. We had the Chargers at the Raiders. Justin Herbert was 22. Oh, I'm sorry. The Chargers won this one in overtime. It's actually a pretty good game. Justin Herbert was 22 for 32, 314 yards, 2 touchdowns. His leading receiver was Austin Eckler with 60 yards on 13 receptions. And I'm sorry, his leading rusher was Austin Eckler, 13 carries for 60 yards. And his leading receiver was Jalen Guyton, 4 receptions for 91 yards. David Carter actually went out in this game. He got hurt early in the game, and Marcus Mariota came in and actually looked pretty good, considering I hadn't seen him for a minute. He was 17 for 28, 226 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was actually the leading rusher for the Raiders, 9 carries on 88 yards. And Darren Waller, man, once again, 9 receptions, 150 yards, 1 touchdown. I know he contributed to helping knock somebody out their fantasy game this past week.
I'm trying to go on mute. No, actually, no. It was Pittsburgh that did me in.
Waller helped do you in, but I'll start this one off. Look and see who I picked real quick. I forget. I picked the Raiders on this one. I got it wrong. I thought the Raiders. I thought they were going to come into play. They had so much to play for. Still trying to push for a playoff spot. But again, divisional games, records don't matter. Where you are in the standings, it's all about those divisional games. And the Chargers came in and won this game. Justin Herbert continues to show that he is developing into a good starting quarterback in this league. Again, I was impressed with Marcus Mariota. Seeing him come in, when Carr went out, I was like, oh, this game is done. And then on the very first drive, Mariota went down. I was like, oh, maybe not. So I picked the Raiders. I got this one wrong. I guess they're pretty much done, I think, in their playoff run. I mean, they're not mathematically eliminated, but they got a lot of work to do. Max, who'd you pick in this one?
I picked the Chargers in this one. Like you said, Justin Herbert, he's developing into he's a really good young cat. I think that he needs to show up a little bit more leadership. But again, like the development for him is like he has a lot of upside potential. So I went with him.
Mark?
Yeah, on this one, Herman, I took the Raiders also. The Chargers got back their revenge from the first meeting that they had. Remember that, I don't know if you guys remember, that game got overturned at the last end of the game over a replay call. But Marcus Mariota was poised. He was real good back there when he came in his return. To me, you know what I took out of this too? Anthony Lynn had blew a lot of coaching in this game. He tried to lose this game like 15, 16 times. His coaching was just terrible in this. Raiders quickly went from being in charge of their own destiny to winning the game to now they're just trying to stay alive and fight and keep the playoff hunt. And it's surprising to me because they beat the Chiefs and the Saints early in the season. So, but I took the Raiders and they lost.
Marcus?
I picked the Chargers. Like you were saying, Justin Herbert, he showed out. I was shocked at how good Mariota played. You know, it's like he's been watching a lot of game footage on Watson, Mahomes, and Lamar. I mean, he just came in and just I haven't seen him play like that since he was at Oregon. And like Professor Jay said, it's good to see him back. I hope he's able to turn this into something next year. He maybe get signed somewhere else. But like Mark said, I think everybody got excited about the Raiders because they beat the Chiefs and they beat the Saints, two of the best teams in the NFL. But that's why they call it any given Sunday. And now, now it's getting close to the playoff time. I think the real them is coming out. I do think
the cream rise to the top. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they're on an upswing. I do give John Gruden a lot of credit. When he first got this job, I was dogging him out, but it seems like he's getting everything into place. I do believe they're on the upswing. The only problem is they're now in the league with they're now in the division two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And like Mark said, the only thing I think it might be time to go ahead and say, I was saying earlier I didn't want Anthony Lincoln fired, but it might be time to go ahead and do it. They got the quarterback, obviously, get some new management in there, get some new coaches in there, and make them a contender. And if that happens, then the Raiders are in trouble. This is a bad time to be in that division with two the best quarterbacks out there.
The only thing about that is if you could set Herbert back because he may have started a whole new offense. That's the only thing about that. So, Brian, who'd you pick?
I also picked the Chargers on this one. Both of these offenses, they actually were both from over 400 yards. And Herbert, he passed Andrew Luck for the most 300-plus yards games by a rookie. So I had the Chargers on this one. It was a good game, and Mariota did look poised, but I just didn't feel the Raiders, and I'm still not feeling the Raiders.
Big Red says the past two seasons the Raiders haven't won a game in December.
Wow.
Wow. That means they start good. They don't finish.
Yeah.
They don't finish good.
That's interesting.
You know what? I think I'm gonna start contacting Reg before the show. He could.
He got all
he be dropping a gem.
Wow. All right, so let's move on to the Sunday night snooze fest. The NFL decided to flex the Cowboys 49ers game out of the Sunday night, and they decided to put in the Browns and the Giants when they had way better options. But hey, who are we?
That was a mistake. That 49ers Cowboys game was actually pretty good.
It was, but I'm saying they could have flexed in the Chiefs and Saints game.
Exactly. That game should have been a primetime game anyway.
But exactly. But anyway, who are we? We're just fans. What do we know? Anyway,
we only consume your product.
Yeah. So
we only got a whole show about it. We've been doing it for 3 years now.
The Browns, they won this. They won this one 20-6. Baker Mayfield was 27 for 32, 297 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb was the leading rusher with 15 carries for 50 yards. Leading receiver was Rashad Higgins, 4 receptions for 76 yards. On the flip side, the Giants had Colt McCoy starting for him. He was 19 for 31, 221 yards passing, no touchdowns, no picks. Alfred Morris was the leading rusher for the Giants, 7 carries for 39 yards. Darius Slayton was the leading receiver, 4 receptions, 74 yards. Marcus, who'd you pick on this one?
Of course, I picked the Browns. They've been fired lately. They're definitely gonna make it to the playoffs. So the Ravens, they need to be very. They need to win these last couple of games. I'm not sure how that spans out now and that turns out what they can do, but I think the Browns definitely gonna make it. What's crazy? I know we were talking about this last week, Herman. How all these fourth downs, people going for it. Those first 2 drives in that game, turnover on time.
Man.
And then another one by the Giants in the second quarter. They definitely don't watch this show.
That's the thing about these young coaches. You want them because they're innovative and they got these great minds, but then you start to throw in this whole analytics thing, and they won't take the points. Just dumb stuff, man. Like, don't even get us started on that.
Because if you look at the stats for this game, it would actually, if you look at the stats and the score, you would actually think it was a lot closer than what the score says it was. But 20-6, that's almost a blowout.
And And Marcus, remember who was calling the games for the Giants? Freddie
Freddie
Kitchens.
Kitchens, yeah, hilarious.
So,
Ex Cleveland Brown coach.
Yeah,
the Baker do what he did to old dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They score a touchdown,
yeah,
they stop and look at him.
me mugging him and all this stuff. Yeah.
Mark, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I picked the Browns, and they won.
Mark, who'd you pick?
Yeah, I took the Brownies also. I took them on this one. This one was a nice bounce back game from what they played against the Raiders last week. They haven't the lowest NFL playoff drought. They ain't been to playoffs since 2002. Baker actually had the best percentage ever for the franchise at 84%. So I thought that was some key records for Cleveland. He led them on 2 95-yard drives, which pretty much ate at the clock. That was nice. That was phenomenal. That was nice. But I took the Brownies and they were successful.
Brian?
Yeah, I was with Mark. I also picked the Browns on this one. And the Browns, they were very effective on the ground. I mean, they ran for like 106 yards, held time of possession. Like Mark was saying, those 2 long drives. They had 34 minutes and 3 seconds to the Giants, 25 minutes and 57 seconds. And the Browns were 69% on third down. So that means that they were moving the chains on a regular basis. But back to what Marcus said in these Giants, man. If it's 3rd and goal and you get stuffed, kick the damn field goal, okay? It's getting ridiculous, okay? You're going to get stuffed again. Your offense ain't going to get no points, and everybody's going to be looking all crazy.
Especially Saquon not in there. I can stand Saquon in there.
You took all this time, all this energy to get down there. Kick the field goal. It's ridiculous now. It ain't funny anymore. It's getting dumb.
Yeah. It's analytics, man. Max, who'd you pick?
I went with the Browns too. I mean, they're number 2 in the AFC North. I mean that's a pretty tough division right now. So simple math, I think.
Yeah, I went with the Browns too on this one. Baker Mayfield finally seems to have gotten, and we talked about it a little bit last week. He's finally gotten that coach that seems to get him. His system works for Baker now. They're doing things that are towards his strength. So he's got a talented team around him. I want to see more out of the run game, especially getting closer into the playoffs. Kareem Hunt only had 21 yards, and Chubb only had 50. They need to up that. They need to find a way to make sure they're running the ball so that Baker doesn't feel too much pressure to have to take the team down there and start doing things that he shouldn't do. But I picked the Browns, and like Brian said, this stuff going forward on 4th down, it's ridiculous at this point. It really is. So it was a snooze fest. I hope the NFL is happy that they put that one on Sunday night, because I guarantee you your ratings weren't as good as they would have been.
All I can say about really, Baker Mayfield is probably the last quarterback you actually wanted to win a Super Bowl. If you think he got too many commercials now and that Bama Cocky now, oh my God.
Come on, some of his commercials are funny though. Have you seen the latest one where they was playing the video game on the big jumbotron?
Yeah, they tell us to turn it down.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
The commercials be having me dead.
So Big Red said the Browns are going to win the AFC North. That's over Pittsburgh and the Ravens.
Easy.
The way that things are trending right now, I can agree with that. Because Pittsburgh,
it don't surprise me now. I won't be surprised.
I will.
Trending upward.
I will.
We gonna see. All right, so
you don't win 11 games and then just fall off a cliff like that.
Well,
they had a tough stretch. 3 games.
Pittsburgh did that memo.
3 games. They'll bounce back.
No team has gone 11-0 and then lost 3 games. They've already got that.
Yeah. I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly Monday, but we'll talk about that.
We're getting ready to talk about that next.
Yeah.
Let's jump right on into this ugly Monday night game.
Mark, you going last?
Mark, I'm sorry in advance. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I ain't even gonna say that. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Bengals 27-17. Again, divisional games, we always talk about this. Records don't mean anything. Throw them out the window. But the Steelers came to town right on time for the Bengals because the Steelers were definitely on the slide, and the Bengals said, "Hey, we're gonna help you keep on sliding." Ben don't laugh, Marcus. Ben Roethlisberger was 20 for 38, 170 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Benny Snell was the leading rusher, 18 carries, 84 yards. Leading receiver was Dante Johnson, 8 receptions, 59 yards. On the flip side,
hold on, I want you to read this very slowly. This is ridiculous.
this is because I just looked at it and I'm like, and you won? Okay. So the opposing quarterback to the Ravens, to the Steelers, Ryan Finley was 7 for 13. He 7 for 13.
Was that the first quarter?
No, this was the entire game. Okay. 89 yards and one touchdown. All right. 7 for 13, 89 yards and one touchdown.
What was his rushing stats?
His rushing stats?
His.
Oh, he got 47 yards.
He carried the ball 10 times for 47 yards. So
okay, only 47. Okay.
Yeah.
He had that big run for this score. I didn't know how long that was.
Yeah. Giovanni Bernard had 25 carries for 83 yards. AJ Green had he was the leading receiver with a whopping 2 receptions for 40 yards.
But they were big catches in that game.
Yeah, he averaged 20 catches a game. 20 yards per catch. Let's torture Mark and make him go last. I'll start this one off. I picked the Steelers. I thought there was no way that they were going to lose. The slide that they were on, I thought there was no way that they were going to lose to the Bengals. I couldn't have been more wrong. And when you lose to an opposing quarterback who threw the ball 13 times with 7 completions and for 89 yards, and you lose, I don't know how even to analyze that. Like the Steelers are just bad all around right now. They really are, and they just can't pull themselves out of it. Juju, you need to stop dancing on people's logos. I think you learned that lesson this week because you came out and said you weren't going to do it no more. But I picked the Steelers, and I got this one wrong. Max, who'd you have?
Same as you. I had the Steelers. I thought that they was going to bounce back from the Washington and the Cleveland, but again, like you said, when you have those, any given Sunday, man.
Exactly.
Sunday, I did not know it was going to go like that.
Right. Brian.
Yeah, I was with you guys. There was no question in my mind that the Steelers were going. This was their get right game. They was going to get back on track. They was going to get back to their winning ways. But the first quarter was a nightmare. They turned the ball over. They gave the Bengals the short field. The Bengals corners are not that good. They were blanketing the Pittsburgh Steelers receivers. Y'all can go on and on about Ben's arm being soft and all this stuff, but you got to have some type of window to throw to. The corners are right where the receivers were the whole game. And then Juju again with his little dance and then fumbling the ball. He got popped. But that came from that you gave them incentive to be even more motivated. You could have buried them early in the first half, and this team would have folded. But you gave them momentum, and they just kept trying to ride that momentum. And I watched the whole game because I just was waiting for Pittsburgh to take the lead. Then I was going to go to sleep. Of course, that never happened. So I picked this one wrong.
Marcus?
I also picked the Steelers, much like you guys. I was like, okay, it's the Bengals. There's no Joe Burrows. The losing streak is over with. And plus, I needed them to win my fantasy playoff game. I had the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and I had Chase Claypool. And I had to, I had to check. I'm like, yo, is he even Chase Claypool? Is he even playing? I'm like, and even Yahoo Sports, which I don't know who be predicted for them. They haven't predicted to win that game, not by much. But I'm sure by the second quarter, that slide has slid all the way back to my opponent's side because there's no way I was going to win that game. I just don't see how you go from being 11-0 to this bad in that period of time. It's crazy, and this is the worst time to go on a slide. This is it would have been better to be average and then start getting hot around this time than be hot and then start going into the playoffs slow. It's not a good time to do it. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, but could you imagine if Joe Burrows would have been in that game? Oh my God!
It would have been a complete blowout.
It would have been disaster. All I know is Tomlin got a lot of work to do. He got to figure something out. I got faith in him. He has a lot of work to do because this is turning out to be a mess right now. This is this is the worst time to not be hot, to go into the playoffs with losing streak, because I just feel like they still can make it. If not win the division, they might have to make it a wild card. But I don't see how they would beat anybody in the playoffs playing like this. And that game was just terrible. I mean, it wasn't exciting to watch at all on either side. And just I don't know. It's just bad right now for the Steelers.
All right, Mark. I know it's painful. Bring it home for you.
The Bengals took full advantage of the mistakes the Steelers made. The Steelers started out 3 weeks ago. They could wrap up the AFC North with a win. Instead, now they're fighting for the playoffs lives. I mean, it's just terrible right now. The lack of not being able to run the ball, the lack of Ben underthrowing wide receivers, Juju dancing on the field. Today they had a team-only meeting, and I'm sure that was addressed on there. So you're not going to see Juju dancing on the field before games no time soon. This is just crazy. Ben was looking like the MVP of the league earlier. Now he looked like the trash of the league. I mean, they just played terrible, and I kind of got a little bit agreed with Big Reg. The way they played, I can't see him beating the Colts coming next week either.
Yeah, Mark, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know that they had the dreaded team. You said players only meeting.
Players only meeting.
It's a wrap. They're not going to win any more games.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. When you have that meeting. It's a wrap.
So if they don't win any more games, they would be 11-5.
They'll still make it. Yeah, they'll be.
They're still being there. They're being in the wild card, but
it's still in the play.
From what they started out with, and now what they finish up with. I mean, they're gonna be one and done.
I don't know, man, but y'all jumping and beating them up and everything. But the Steelers got the worst out of this COVID season. I mean, they've been dogged and ran them up all over this thing, and then it definitely is going to take a toll on your team. So,
I mean, everybody's taking a toll on everybody.
Yeah, but not as bad as the Steelers.
They've been hit hard though.
You remember they had to take their bye early.
Oh yeah, and
they were supposed to play what, Sunday? Oh no, Thursday.
And they got a lot of key people out injuries. They got a lot.
Yeah, that's true. But Crimea River.
I mean, they did still lose to Cincinnati though. So
that's true.
I mean, Crimea River. All right. Let's move on to the next game. We gotta speed it up a little bit because we're running over with these games. So let's talk about this next game. The Buffalo Bills beat the Denver Broncos 48-19. Josh Allen was 28.
Whoa! You're not saying his name correctly, sir.
NFL MVP candidate.
Josh Allen was 28 for 40, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zach Moss was the leading rusher, 13 rushes, 81 yards. Stephon Diggs, of course, was your leading receiver, 11 receptions, 147 yards. And Cole Beasley was right there behind him, 8 receptions, 112 yards. The Broncos, Drew Lock was 20 for 32, 132 yards, 1 touchdown. Melvin Gordon, 11 rushes, 61 yards. Noah Fant, 8 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. I'm gonna start this one off because
you've been starting a lot off now.
No, I haven't started off a lot.
You just started off. This is the third one you started off.
No, I don't think so. Okay. I'm gonna start this one off because I've been dogging Josh Allen all year long because it's just my favorite thing to do. Josh Allen was very impressive in this game. He has really showed me a lot. He's out there commanding that offense. He is leading the Buffalo Bills. So, I picked the Bills on this because, of course, I knew they were going to beat the Broncos. But Josh Allen, he is out there doing his thing, beating up on a 5-9 team. Give me a break. Give me a break. Okay? Let's see what happens when he gets into the playoffs. Okay, I'm still not buying Josh Allen. I'm not.
Hater.
So I picked the Bills. I got it right. Josh Allen, you still don't impress me. Let's see. Let's go with Max. Max, who you got? Who'd you pick on this one?
I think you're mute, Max.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I don't know why you don't have any faith in Josh Allen. He's a grown man.
He's delusional.
That dude, he's a football player through and through. Leader. The last 2 years, he's been really impressing me. Like, who even heard of the Buffalo Bills? You know, going for like 500. Like, since I've been alive and watching football, I've never seen that.
They've done it before.
Yeah, but he said he wasn't around back then.
Yeah, he wasn't around back then.
When I found out, I was like, he's a grown man. He's not scared of contact. He can throw the ball and he leads the team. Like, through and through. I picked the Bills.
Mark, who'd you have? Here we go. Now we got to hear all this.
Bills Mafia, and they did beat a good team. They beat an 11-1 team.
We're talking about the 5-9 Broncos.
Anyway,
Yeah, 5-9 Broncos.
the Bills pretty much won over the Broncos. Officially, they ended the New England Patriots' 11-year reign on the top of the AFC East. Go Bills Mafia.
We knew that was going to happen this year. All right, Brian, who'd you have?
You know, I was riding with that MVP Josh Allen. 534 offensive yards.
Say it again, Brian.
534 offensive yards. 69% on third down. And he put up 48 points.
40 burger.
48, yep. No, and like Mark said, this is the first time since 1995. 1995, huh?
He didn't put up 48 points. He only threw 2 touchdowns.
Hey, look, I'm talking about the Bills in general.
Yeah,
he didn't put up the whole 534 offensive yards.
He put up 359 of it.
Okay. So, first time since 1995 that they had the title. And Big Reg has said something about Stephon Diggs to be the MVP. I give you that, but Josh Allen's legs also helped them get it down in there too. So that's why I give it to Josh Allen. Because Josh ain't only doing it with his arm. Josh is doing it with his legs.
You're 100% right, Big Reg. I 100% agree with you. It is all about Stephon Diggs. Marcus, in this madness, please.
Of course, I picked the NFL MVP candidate, Josh Allen, and the Buffalo Bills. And you guys are right, Stephon Diggs. I mean, I guess he could have been happy. He could have been even more. He could have been happier than get out of Minnesota because he is living his best life over there in Buffalo. He finally has a good quarterback, to that bum he had in Minnesota. I mean, but Herman's also right. It's the Broncos with Drew Lock as the quarterback. Von Bell is out. Defense isn't really what it used to be. I mean, this is probably a rebuilding year, if anything, for the Broncos. But still, give the Bills their credit. That they're taking over that division this year. They really only got to worry about Miami in the next few years until we see what the Jets do. But I picked the Bills, and I was right.
Yeah, I'm gonna just reiterate it, but I dog Josh Allen, but y'all know I'm playing. Josh Allen's definitely balling out for real. I do reserve the right to dog him out when he loses in the playoffs, and I'll come back to the other side of that track. But I mean, he definitely has developed into a good quarterback, and it's going to be interesting in that division now because you got Allen and you got Tua. You're seeing the changing of the guard for the AFC East. At least right now, until the Patriots find what they're going to do at quarterback. So that's good to see. So,
Professor J, Captain Kirk sucks.
Marcus, that's for you. That's for you, Marcus.
That's fine. All right, so let's move on to the next game, which was the Carolina Panthers at the Green Bay Packers. Teddy Bridgewater, 21 for 35, 258 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Leading rusher was Mike Davis, 14 carries for 59 yards. And leading receiver was DJ Moore, 6 receptions, 131 yards. Aaron Rodgers, wow, didn't do a whole lot this game. 20 for 29, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. Aaron Rodgers Aaron Jones, I'm sorry, was the leading rusher, 20 carries for 145 yards. And Alan Lazar was the leading receiver, 5 receptions for 56 yards. Um, Packers won this one 24-16. Max, who did you have in this one?
I had the Green Bay Packers. I don't think that the Saints are the same with Taysom Hill leading the helm, honestly.
They played the
Played
Panthers.
the Panthers.
Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Yeah, I mean Packers. Sorry, Packers, hands down.
Okay.
Easy call.
Brian?
Yeah, I picked the Packers on this one. And like Herman was saying, I mean, the Packers only put up 291 yards offensively, and the Panthers put up 364. But the Green Bay, they actually ran this ball very well. They ran for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Panthers just couldn't get on the scoreboard. They go up and down the field, but they couldn't put no points on the board, which is why they made it close at the end. But I mean, the Packers pretty much had this game handled throughout.
Marcus?
I mean, of course, I picked the Packers, but you wonder why Aaron Rodgers' stats so low because in the second half they didn't do anything. All that they won in that first half. You know, and that seems to be the Packers' problem. They don't really play a whole 4 quarters of football, and they better get that right before they go into the playoffs. But I picked the Packers, and Packers won.
Mark?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Marcus. The Green Bay's fast start with Aaron Rodgers really got them pretty much the lead, and they just cruised up. He only threw for 143 yards in the pretty much second quarter, but they did enough to beat them, is what it was. So I took Green Bay. Green Bay was successful.
So
Hey, Reg, Herm, just real quick. Reg, slow down, man. We're going to talk about that game. Slow down.
I know, right? I'm going to go last on this one. Brian, you happy? I'm going last.
Yeah. It would be nice if somebody else could go first besides you and Max, but I'm not going to say that.
I picked the Packers on this one, too. It's like you said, it was pretty much a given that the Packers were going to win this. Carolina, they're still building. They were without their most dynamic player, McCaffrey. Bridgewater's trying to hold it down, but he needs more. He needs a little bit more around him. I think he's got some good wide receivers down there, but their defense really stepped up in the second half. Like y'all said, the Packers did all their damage in the first half of the game. Second half, they scored 3 points. So if Carolina could have got their offense going, a little more, the Packers would have lost this game. So, like you said, Marcus, I'm with you. The Packers better learn to play a full game because if they don't, they're going to be in trouble in the playoffs. So, all right, so the last game we're going to review from last week was what we thought should have been the Sunday night game. It was the Kansas City Chiefs at the New Orleans Saints. Patrick Mahomes was 26 for 47, 254 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 14 carries, 79 yards, but he did get hurt in this game. Le'Veon Bell came in. He had 15 carries, 62 yards. Travis Kelce was the leading receiver, 8 receptions, 68 yards. Drew Brees actually came back for this game. He wasn't 100% healthy. You could see it, but he kept him in the game. He was 15 for 34, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Alvin Kamara, 11 carries, 54 yards, and Emmanuel Sanders was the leading receiver with 4 receptions for 76 yards. Kamara also threw in 3 receptions for 40 yards. So Kansas City won this one 32-29. Let's start with Brian since he was whining about who gets the first.
Like everyone was saying, man, it was Drew Brees' first game back, and I mean, it didn't really go like he had planned. The Saints were kind of slow, but they did heat up in the second quarter, but it was just too late. Mahomes is out there doing Mahomes things, putting up 32 points and, throwing dimes, running to his left and throwing to the left right at the end. And I mean, he's just ridiculous with it. So, you need a little more for Brees, but Brees, he got him back in the game. I mean, I didn't think that they were going to even be that close. Kamara got, better used than he did when Taysom Hill was running it. So they'll get it together. It's just going to take them a minute. Brees, like I said, Herman ain't 100%, but once he gets there, the Saints will get back up there. But it was a good game. I picked the Chiefs.
Mark, who'd you have?
I took the Kansas City Chiefs, and then I think Breeze he had a slow start, and he didn't start really warming up until the second half. I thought the Kansas City Chiefs, the way they ended this game, I was impressed with because they pretty much had to run the clock out to preserve the win. It doesn't look like it's real. It looked like they were real smart for getting Le'Veon Bell now that Edward Hilaire is out now for the end for the season. I think he had a hip injury in that game.
Yeah, hip and
so they looking real smart with that one. But I took the Kansas City Chiefs and they were successful.
Yeah, I went with the Chiefs also. It was a good game. I just thought that I thought Hill was gonna play, but the Chiefs right now they're the team to beat. They may not be playing the way we saw them play last year, but they don't have to. You look at Mahomes; he's spreading the ball around, a good amount, and they got a possibly a two-headed monster run game, if they have to. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if he comes back and he's healthy for the playoffs, the run game.
He's done for the season.
No, they said he might. They said he might be back for the playoffs.
I don't think he come back. But go ahead.
We'll see. But if not, Le'Veon Bell's going to step right in, and I don't think they're not going to miss much of a beat. Having Le'Veon as the backup. So I picked the Chiefs. I think the Saints. They're going to be a force to reckon with in the playoffs. Also, now that Breeze gets back, if he gets healthier. They're still going to be a team, hard out. If you notice, when Breeze came back, Kamara got more involved in the game plan. It seems like, which I don't quite understand. Why Peyton didn't stress that when Taysom Hill was in, but Kamara again, he was a little more involved in the plays, and so I think you're going to see more of that again. So yeah, and then they did this without Michael Thomas too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
you got to consider that.
They've been doing most of the year without Michael Thomas. So.
Well, that's true. So if you get him for the playoffs again, they're a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, I picked the Chiefs. I got it right. Max,
I went with the Saints, and it's a little bit of wishful thinking. Taysom. I didn't know if Drew Brees was going to come back. I thought Taysom Hill, he was getting a little bit of rhythm, and with Michael Thomas out, I think that really affected the game. Obviously Emmanuel Sanders he stepped up, but when they don't have Michael Thomas, I think they're at a really severe disadvantage when it comes to the attack.
Marcus,
I picked the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are looking real good right now. They're looking like a solid team. Like you said, they're not playing like they did last year. Like this is the sixth game in a row they've only won by one possession. So they're doing what they need to do to win the game. Like so Mahomes is is doing what Mahomes does, and they're overall solid team. I picked the Chiefs, and the Chiefs won.
Yeah, I think I might agree with you on that one, Professor J. That could possibly be a Super Bowl preview.
I like to know what drugs they had Drew Brees on. He out there with all them doggone crack ribs.
For real.
I need them kind of drugs.
Did you see, like before the show, he had this like special like made flak jacket for to try to protect him.
Right.
Yeah, but they say broke ribs hurt when you breathe.
Yeah. Broke ribs ain't no joke.
Imagine.
He took some type of pain reliever. He took something for pain.
All right, so let's jump into this week's games. Let's try to run through these as quick as we possibly can. We got the Friday night game, the Friday game coming up. The Christmas
game. Christmas game.
We got the 6-8 Vikings. You like that, Brian?
I do. I'm proud of you.
Going up against the 10-4 Saints. Let's let Brian start this one off again. Brian, who you got on this one?
Saints are giving up 7 by Vegas standards. I like the Saints in this one. I think Breeze will get back on there. And, the Saints have still the number 3 defense, and I just don't think Kirk got enough to do anything with that. Give me the Saints.
Max, who you got on this one?
Give me the Saints. Drew Brees is getting back into rhythm. Easy call.
Marcus?
I'm not picking no Kirk Cousins team. So
right.
I'm going with the Saints. You know what I'm going with. Saints.
Mark?
You know I ain't picking no Kirk Cousins team. I'm going with the Saints. I'm going with the Saints too. I'm taking the Saints.
All right, well, it's a unanimous panel. I'm going to go with the Saints on this one also. The Vikings were playing some pretty decent ball at one point, but things have fallen off with them. So let's move on to the next game. We got a couple games on Saturday. We got 3 games on Saturday. Actually, we're going to pick 2 of them. We got the 9-5 Dolphins at the 7-7 Raiders. I'll start this one off if it's okay with Brian.
Once you let Marcus start one up.
You the host. Do what you want to do. You know.
Right. I'm gonna go with Miami on this one. I've been on that Miami train all year, and last week I picked against them for some strange reason on my pick'em pool, and I got that wrong. So Raiders are kind of on a slide right now, and the Dolphins they got a lot. The Dolphins have some injuries that they're dealing with, but they got a lot to play for. They're right there in that playoff contention also. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I think they're a young team on the come up, and I think they're gonna go into Vegas and they're gonna get one. And if what Big Red said holds true, the Raiders don't win in December. So I'm going with Miami. Marcus, who you got?
I'm ready to go with you. The Dolphins, I definitely think are a team when they come up. And like Big Red said, they don't win in December. So I'm going to pick the Dolphins as well.
Max, who you got on this one?
Offense. It's the Alabama boys. They do their thing.
Mark?
Yeah, I'm have to agree with you all. I'm gonna take the Dolphins. Dolphins have turned into a really fun team to watch. They had another trick play Sunday that got called back on the penalty, but they're a fun team to watch. I'm taking the Dolphins.
And Brian.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it unanimous. And Vegas agrees with you guys. Dolphins are giving up 3 points. Dolphins has Miles Gaskins coming back to play running back for them this week. Raiders defense is giving up average of 30 points a game. And Mark, you're right. The Dolphins are 8-2 since week 5. The only other team that has a better record than them are the Chiefs.
Wow.
Did not know that.
That's very interesting. All right, so on the other Saturday night game, or Saturday game, is going to be the 5-9 49ers against the 8-6 Cardinals. Division game, so these can always get interesting. 49ers lost to the Cowboys this past weekend. I don't think they were expecting that. Who you got on this one, Mark?
I'm gonna take the Cardinals on this one. They're fighting to keep in playoff contention. I think they're gonna bring it. I'm taking the Cardinals.
Brian?
I agree with Mark. Vegas is giving up 5 points. The Niners are starting their third string quarterback in this game. Mostert's out for the season. I think the Cardinals have more to try to. They need this win to stay in that playoff hunt. So they'll get the W.
Max?
I'm gonna go with the 49ers. They always seem to surprise me, especially when it's a divisional game. I think the Cardinals they do choke when it comes to playing within the division. So
you got a point there. Sometimes they do show up and they play soft in the
they do, and then the 49ers they always upset somebody in the division. So I'm going with 49ers.
Marcus?
Like I've been saying all year, I'm riding that Arizona Cardinal and Kyler Murray train down the track. Even though I do got to agree with Max. 49ers, they do seem to upset somebody. But I don't know. I just got faith in the Cardinals, and like Mark said, they're on a third string quarterback. And I almost say at the end of the year, the 49ers whole training staff need to be fired. Get somebody else in there. Good Lord. They can't keep nobody healthy.
It ain't like they had a bunch of COVID. Everybody just got hurt.
They just got hurt. I mean, they need to really look at their training program all season because it don't make no sense.
It was bad luck for them this year. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cardinals on this one. Even though I had my reservations when I first looked at it. The Cardinals, they're starting to get hot right now, though. So 49ers, their players at this point, they got to be just looking to make, pack the U-Haul and make sure that they don't get hurt so they don't have to rehab in the offseason. So
you don't want no season-ending injury in week 17.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going with the Cardinals on this one. So the Sunday night game looks like this one should be a pretty interesting one. We got the 10-4 Titans with Derrick Henry and his disrespectful stiff arms coming to the 11-3 Packers. Max, who you got on this one?
I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Bruh.
Marcus, who you got on this one?
Well, you know I'm picking the Titans, but the Packers are kind of soft. They don't play a whole game anyway, and then Derrick Henry just go down there and just stiff arm a couple of people, make some more memes. I'm definitely going with the Titans. Titans are hot.
Mark?
The Titans.
It's like this, Mark.
I
Like that.
thought we were supposed to be like
The Titans.
I didn't know what he was doing. I was like, Jets?
You know?
Brian, who you got on this one?
But I'm with Marcus and Mark. Give me them Titans, man. The Packers are actually Vegas. Packers are giving up 3.5, man. But I don't think the Packers defense can stop Henry. I truly don't. And Big Reg brought it up earlier. I think they're gonna bring it to him on both sides of the ball, the offensive line and the defensive line. I think it's gonna bring it to the Packers and frustrate Rodgers.
You know, it's going to be interesting because Tennessee is kind of a little notorious for starting late. And then Green Bay, they don't do anything at the end of their game. So you might see this game kind of go up one way and then get close. But I got to go with the Titans. Y'all know I've been riding that Titans train all year. Once again, they were my pick to win the division. So I'm going to ride that Titans train. I think they'll beat the Packers. Derrick Henry's looking for his next victim. And I think he's going to be on the Packers.
Look at Mr. Harbaugh talking about the Packers.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Man, we keep picking these fools' games. I swear, God, 11-3 Bills going at the 6-8 Patriots. Why do we even pick this game? Like,
I know this it's Monday night, but yeah, okay. You're right because we all gonna probably pick the same. If somebody picked the Patriots, I'm be shocked. But go ahead.
Well, let me go first then, and I'm picking the Bills. Brian, no explanation.
Yeah, Vegas, the Bills are getting 7. Patriots are done. They have nothing to play for, and they don't have a quarterback. Give me the Bills.
Max.
Bills. Come on now. Josh Allen, a grown man. Stephon Diggs. He distributes the ball.
Marcus.
I'm taking NFL MVP candidate Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Mark.
Bills Mafia. Get the shovel out. They about to bury New England. It's over.
The torch will be passed on Monday Night Football.
Why don't y'all just wear Bills jerseys? Just change the name of the show to Bills Mafia. Or something.
Hey, y'all know the Terminator said nothing about his MVP in him.
Who? Aaron Rodgers?
Russell Wilson. Wilson.
Well, he fell off from the
Russell was cooking.
Josh Allen's not going to win it. Anyway, did I get everybody? I won everybody, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Last game of the week. This one ought to be a good one, man. The NFC West is good because we're picking all their games this week. Okay. I swear. The 9-5 Rams coming off of a shocking loss to at the 10-4 Seattle Seahawks coming off of a great win against the WTF team.
They barely won that game.
Marcus, who you got in this one?
This is actually a hard game to pick. This definitely right here, this game definitely has playoff implications. But I'm going to go ahead and stick my boy Russell Wilson. I'm picking the Seahawks.
Mark?
I'm going to have to agree. I'm taking the Seahawks in this one too. Russell Wilson, get back on the winning ways.
Brian?
Man, the Rams were embarrassing losing to the Jets last week. Vegas is making Seattle give up a point. I'm assuming just because it's at home. I think the Rams are going to pull this one out. Don't ask me why. I may be lone wolf in this one, but give me the Rams.
Max?
Give me the Rams. We lost last week, but I think it's going to light a little fire up under their butts. Get going. Plus, I think we have a good record within the division. Besides losing to 49ers, I think that we just need to seal the deal. I think that the Rams could come to. And plus, the running game with Cam Akers has kind of been opened up. I mean, not last week, but I think
Cam is hurt though.
Yeah, he's done.
I think Cam is hurt.
He is.
Never mind then, man. Okay, no, I'm saying never mind. I'm still picking the Rams, but
I'm going with the Rams on this one too. This
Thank you,
ought to
Herman.
be, this ought to be a good game. I was, when I looked at it, I said, I see the Rams.
What you
bouncing
only
back.
saying it because you don't want a long
Yeah,
wolf?
Yeah, I
no,
want
no,
Lone
no. But I see the Rams bouncing back this week. That was an embarrassing loss to
The
the
Jets.
Jets, and I'm telling you, Donald, he was pissed. You could see it when he walked off that field.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, Aaron Donald, he was not happy. So,
Come on, what of a Donald did you think, Marcus?
Well, he
Yeah,
might
but
was already talking about Sam Donald.
his Darnold. He's
Darnold or
Yeah.
Donald?
I said Donald.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. So again, what other Donald?
Hey, look,
Right.
you want to get muted? I'm about to mute your ass.
I'm just asking the question.
Don't question me in front of the
Cursing on the show, man.
I'm sorry.
It's
Don't
family
question me
friendly.
in front of the audience. What's wrong with you?
All right, so
Send a private message.
those are the picks for the week. We should have some. We're winding down, y'all.
Hey,
I remember.
Hey Herman, just real quick, we did not say how we did last week.
Oh yeah, so
We just skipped that.
4-2.
yeah, I was 4-2.
5-1.
Let's wait for Marcus.
I was 5-1 too.
Matt, we added up how the games we picked last week. We just added up to see what our record was last week.
Yeah, I was 4-2 too.
Okay, good. You were better than your brother.
I was 5-1. I ain't better than me.
Marcus, we don't believe this stat.
Yeah, we don't believe you. We have to go back and review yours. So
All right, but that review, that's all the games for the week. So we'll do our little final thoughts, and then we'll wrap the show out for the week. Mark, you can start with your final thoughts for the week.
Just we're going into a Christmas couple 2 more days. Just remember the real reason for it, man. Give love and take care of yourself. Make sure y'all wear the mask. Try to keep your social distancing, and let's get out of 2020 healthier and smarter.
Brian.
yeah, this is off the topic, but for all you old rap heads,
Hey,
today.
don't do that. Let me do that.
Why?
Let me do that. Do something else. Do
Okay.
something
Merry Christmas.
That's it.
I mean, I was going to do it. Somebody told me I can't. So
About to steal Marcus' thunder, but go ahead.
apparently,
Well, just a thank you to all the people that watch the show. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy your time with your family, especially this year. Family is important every year, but this year it's been a rough year, and so embrace your family and enjoy this time and enjoy the holidays. Once again, to the head coaches out there, 3 points is okay.
it's
Field goals are
good.
good. Yeah, field goals are good. Okay, just
No
remember
problem with 3.
that. Yeah, Max, what's your final thought?
This is fun. Thank y'all for letting me be on the show. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
And Marcus, final thought, and then bring it home.
Just like everybody's saying, Merry Christmas. Be safe. Don't forget we're still in a pandemic. And like Brian was going to say, if you're old school rap head, we lost a legend today. John Ecstasy Fletcher from Houdini passed away. He was 50. I think they said 53. So RIP to him. Condolences out to his family. I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Catch us on Facebook, our Facebook group, The Live Game. Also catch us on Twitter at The Live Game 3. And you can also catch us on Instagram at the official The Live Game. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace. We out.
Peace. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.